to the chair, thank you.
And Mr. Philly, I want to apologize to you if you thought that my letter was a personal attack. It was not. The chairman of the Board of Selectmen resigned. When he resigned, he stated.
I know he did.
And he stated publicly on blogs and in the newspaper.
I know he did.
That's why I wrote the letter. It was not anything personal to you. And if you expect me to call you, the Board of Selectmen is here. Last week, the answer could have been answered.
No,
When
Mr. Rogers asked us
Mr.
not
Rogers shut
to.
it down, but that's your right to do that. But it was a simple question. All we wanted was an answer.
I hope you received your answer. Thank you very
We
much.
have received your answer, and I apologize to you personally. I have
Thank
no
you.
intention of ever attacking anyone. This is a big deal to me, this whole casino project, so I just want to make sure that all cut, and that's why if this was answered last week, it would have been over, but it wasn't.
Well, we only received the letter late in the afternoon so that none of us were able to read it.
And that's, I spoke to Mr. Spataro this week and said, why don't you all just stand up and say, I had nothing to do with it, and I would be totally insulted, like I'm sure you are, that someone would accuse you of that. And if someone accused me of that, I would be standing up here right in your face. And I expect you to be in my face for saying such a thing if it's not true. And you just said it, so you answered the question. As far as I'm concerned, it's not true, and you're okay with me,
All right.
okay?
Mr. Renfrew.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
I just wanted to say that I do not go on the blogs to answer on the blogs because it's anonymous, and I don't feel comfortable with that. So if someone has any issue with something I've done, I work in town every day. Just come and talk to me and get it straightened out, rather than have it turn into this.
I agree with you
This
wholeheartedly. But it was the chairman of the Board of Selectmen that started this, and none of you spoke when he left the room.
Then-
And so everything, you just sat there, and I thought he was wrong. But it was up to you to speak, not me.
But maybe all of you should go speak to Mr. Bond.
I have spoken to Mr. Bond, and he said the same thing to me personally.
But he never explains.
Well, let's
I'm
keep
just
this on.
saying.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank
And,
you.
I'll just note on comment that somebody sends an email, it's a lot different than when somebody's speaking to them. Written word looks a lot different than the spoken word. You know what I mean?
I've
And
tried to speak
sometimes
to
things
him.
are.
I spoke to Mr. Spataro the other night, and I've tried to speak to the board before on different occasions on different water department issues, and have received no answer until I wrote a letter. That's the only reason I wrote the letter. I would much prefer talking to you, but I don't think it's appropriate. I think this was a big issue that was out in the public, and it needed to be answered, and now it has been.
Great, thank
And
you.
I would hope that all of you would stand up and say, no, we have had no personal contact with the tribe.
I will never do that because I have no reason to.
Mr. Chairman?
Well, then,
I've never
I
been to
think
the.
that, I'm not accusing you of anything, Mr. Rogers.
Well, that's what it sounds like.
But I mean, it's a public, you work for the
You're
public.
asking us to. You're asking me to explain myself.
Well,
For
Mr.
what? What did I
Bond
do?
put that out there, not I. Mr. Bond put that out there. He said the
no longer
entire
here.
board,
That's right, he did.
not I.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman,
Go right ahead.
I do want to respond, because you asked for all of us to respond. I have spoken to Mr. Graham on several occasions, the same issue, social occasions, that Mr. Philly was at. I spoke to him several times on the phone, that I called him, I initiated the call, because we had not received the checks to go forward with the engineering on the water and wastewater. So, yes, I initiated calls. I wanted to find out where that money was, because we weren't taking a step until we got that money. So, yes, I did initiate calls, and for that reason. I also, let's see, I do know Mr. McDermott. He was the attorney that was sitting at town meeting up with the Board of Selectmen. So I do know who he is. That's the only contact I ever had with him. All these other people, with the exception of Mr. Marshall, 2 times. Once at the junior high and once at the town meeting. The only 2 times I saw him. Never spoke to him other than that. These other people, I do not know. I've had no communication with them. I'm clearing the air.
I appreciate that, and let me make something clear. This is not me.
No, I know it's not you.
This is, when the chairman of the Board of Selectmen says something like that on public access TV, then you would think, there's some suspicion thrown out there. So I would feel it was up to you to say something. And if somebody challenged my character like that, I would answer. That's just That's my statement. And I apologize if I've insulted you. I didn't mean to. I'm just saying there's something hanging out there. Why don't we clear the air and get it over with? And then we can go on with town business.
I hope that
pretty simple.
clears the air, Mr. Renfro, because this is ridiculous. Why those comments were made and why the comments are made on the blog, I have no idea. Somebody has too much time on their hands.
Exactly.
That's all I can say.
Exactly.
We have too much to do here. The resort project right now, quite frankly, in my mind, that's secondary.
Very
We have a
much so.
budget deficit of $3 million that we're trying to solve. And to take up our time with this is absolutely ridiculous.
Mr. Chairman?
And I'm sorry, I'm venting, Mr. Renfro, and
If
it's
you-
not,
yeah,
it's not at you, and it's not at
Thank
Mr.
you.
Front.
Mr. Spataro.
I only speak for myself, but I'm very confident that any of the discussions that the board members had with the tribe was doing their due diligence associated with protecting the interests of Middleborough. Clearly, tribal members were at town meetings, so we all had to say, everyone in this room had to say that they met them. They stood up and they put their hands up. Did I attend? They had a breakfast. They invited people from around town to the breakfast when they blessed the land that they had procured through their investors. They gave me a CD of the tribal history of the Wampanoags, and they gave me a shirt that said the Wampanoags on it. And here's the return receipt that I mailed it back. So, because a dear friend said to me, you know, Steve, I would never question your integrity because I grew up with you for the last 50 years I've known you. But somebody who would be new in town that's concerned about are we all protecting the land and the town when they don't really know us all that well. I said, you know, if that makes a difference between somebody, you know, then I don't need the aggravation. I did thank the tribe because they gave it in friendship. They were so excited that they were wanted by somebody to pursue the opportunity that the federal government gave them. While we can all agree or disagree on the method, even the tribe said, I wish that the federal government gave me some way of providing for our descendants other than gaming. But that seems to be the most lucrative thing that can happen, and so I do thank them for creating a resort rather than, in their proposal, rather than just a casino. But I don't think that there's any one of us that hasn't talked to the tribe or tried to talk to the tribe, but in the role of selectmen, doing the best that they can do for the town on a project that's so big, we would be remiss and we would be negligent in our duty if there wasn't some communication with the Wampanoag Nation.
And never, ever, ever in private meetings, ever. I promise
You
you.
don't have to,
I
you don't have to
promise
explain
you.
yourself to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barset.
Hi, Diane Bass at 30 Stone Street, Middleborough. I am part of the tribe. Every time I'm in this room, the tribe is here. Everybody I speak to is speaking to the tribe. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just say to end this that I have never had to defend myself, and I have never met the tribe outside of this room. I never received anything, never attended any of the breakfast, never did any of it. And so if people are thinking that, trust me, I don't defend myself very easily because I have had enough ethics training, I think, to try to stay above that and away from it. I don't need it. And I never really read that blog. I think they just gossip columns, so I stay away from them. But people call me, oh, you got to read this, you got to read this. And so I don't want to read it because they're gossip columns. I don't even know who's saying it. And but I did read a couple of them because I was pretty much forced to. And why should I respond to that? You can come here and ask me a question, I guess, or call me on my phone. I have a house phone. People call me and I talk to them. But I've never had my integrity questioned. That's what I find offensive. Why are you doing that? Who are these people who are doing that? I don't know if my name being mentioned specifically in these blogs, because really I have better things to do. But when you start questioning my integrity, I take offense to that, and I don't think I have to defend myself. And so that's all I have to say about that.